Hello there. We start with what's going on in Saudi Arabia. China's leader is there. The two countries are discussing trade ties and security. Now, Beijing and Riyadh already have a pretty strong trading relationship, not least because China is the world's biggest importer of oil and Saudi Arabia the biggest exporter. China is Saudi Arabia's biggest trading partner, with trade last year between the two totaling more than $87 billion. That's as China bought almost $44 billion worth of oil from Saudi Arabia. Aham Kamal is the head of the Middle East and North Africa section of Eurasia Group. Aham, now Beijing is sort of pursuing a pretty sophisticated strategy, isn't it, here with Riyadh, and quite incremental in nature. And on Thursday, they sort of signed a series of deals. What was the nature of those deals? But regardless, I mean, when you look at what's happening, it's effectively a mini pivot, isn't it, towards Asia and between these two nations, because this is where the Gulf is seeing a long-term partnership. What sort of impact is that going to have geopolitically?
Thank you.
Now, the government here in Britain is expected today to announce one of the biggest overhauls of financial regulations since the so-called Big Bang. No, not that one, the other one, the deregulation bonanza of October 1986. It will include an overhaul of rules governing the hiring, the monitoring and sanctioning of senior financial executives. Why does it matter? Well, it's being presented as a significant example of post-Brexit freedom to tailor regulation specifically to the needs and strengths of the UK economy. Francis Coppola is an independent bank. Now, China's factory gate prices contracted again in November, while inflation on the consumer side eased a little bit. Now, growth in this country has sagged this year, largely impacted by pretty uncompromising COVID-19 curbs, and global demand, of course, has wavered as well. Let's bring in Jane Foley, shall we? We are heading over to America, to the Big Apple, where journalists at the New York Times are holding a one-day strike. It's the first major walkout at the paper since 1970. This after the paper and its union fell out over a host of issues, including salaries, healthcare and retirement benefits. From the picket line, the BBC's business correspondent Samir Hussain filed this report. Do stay with us here on BBC News. Still to come, Hi there, welcome back. This is BBC World News. A reminder of our headlines.